Hi guys, KP this side. Hope all of you are doing good. This is vlog number 60 in Decoding Equity Markets with KP series. I am here in Kochi, Ernakulam right now and taking my CA final classes for strategic financial management. Yesterday only I started and today also again I have a class, full day class, but I thought that okay, to be on a safe side I'll do a video in the morning itself. How was last week? We will discuss that, followed by certain data analysis of China, followed by US. Not much happened as far as India is concerned at economy level. Obviously, the markets were very good last week for India. That we will discuss. Then my discussion on the indices that we will take up, and then I'll give you a life hack. Not giving any fresh recommendations today. I would suggest to stick to the recommendations which I've already given. In fact, if you remember last week, I have recommended Avanti feeds at around 442, and I think it went up till 488. Missed my target by another 20 points, I think, but was looking very, very strong on Thursday, I guess. Okay. How about the markets last week? Indian markets were looking pretty strong. Uh, uh, they have surpassed the levels of 20,100 mark comfortably. In fact, on Friday it went up till 20,222. That is the historic highs for Nifty. Uh, I have told this clearly to you that some support has to come in from Dow Jones side. Was looking good on Wednesday and Thursday. Thursday closing was above 34,900 levels. I was only praying to God that Friday the closing for Dow Jones somehow should come above 34,800, and this is for the third or fourth time that Dow Jones has failed to hold on to crucial 3400 800 levels. That is where my concern is. Nasdaq again, third or fourth time, has failed to hold on to 14,000 levels. So I'll come back to the indices a little later. Nifty closing on Friday was also stupendous. Bank Nifty going past 46,000 mark. Everything as far as Indian equity markets is concerned is looking very, very nice. What are the biggest fears? How do we balance it out? Is there any good news to celebrate? We'll discuss all that today. Guys, if you remember in my last 3 to 4 videos, I have been constantly telling you that China is suffering on all fronts. Uh, Whether you talk about consumption, you talk about retail spending, you talk about real estate, they were suffering on all fronts. But this week, on Friday, the August month data which has been published is giving you some encouraging numbers. I'll speak about it. The factory pace has picked up, the manufacturing activities have gone up, the retail sales are up. Only downside is that real estate is still not picking up. If you compare year on year, retail real estate sales are down by almost 8.8%. It's not a big concern, right? But like I have told you earlier also, for a country like China, where economy is heavily dependent on real estate growth, and they are very aggressive because they try to push real estate by taking huge debt burdens. It backfires on them if they are not able to sell these properties which they have developed by taking humongous loans. So, because the interest on debt has to be paid on timely basis, but if the sales are not picking up, then this interest burden becomes problematic for the real estate developers, and that is when you are staring at defaults at country level, at companies level, both on national and on international debt. That is the biggest problem. Their retail sales have grown 4.6% in August. In the month of July, it grew by 2.5%, which is a positive sign. The auto sales have also gone up 5.1% in August. So retail is looking good, auto is looking good. Industrial output has grown by 4.5% annually, whereas it was only 3.7% in the month of July. So even the industrial output is looking good. Unemployment, like we discussed earlier, is at around 20%, which is significantly high. And going forward, if the activity improves in economy, then probably this thing can be taken care of. Because of all this, the pace getting picked up in factory data, retail sales, and auto sales, the Hong Kong Hang Seng was up by 1.7% last week. I mean, I think this was on Friday. And the People's Bank of China or the Central Bank of China have given an assurance that they will reduce the reserve requirements by further 25 basis points, that is 0.25%, so that they can create more liquidity into the economy. And with this, they expect that they will be able to rejuvenate the growth in real estate sector. This is what they are anticipating. All in all, August numbers are looking good. As I told you, the government, the People's Bank of China, they are proactively taking measures, and with that, slowly you will see economy easing out, and that exactly is what has happened now. So maybe we are going forward. Maybe we can expect that September numbers will be again better. See, one good thing is China is almost going into a disinflationary environment. So at least for next 3, 4, 5 months down the line, for China, the big problem is not worrying about the inflation or hyperinflationary environment, prices going up. So even if crude prices are going up, guys, which has now become a problem for most of the other economies, even if crude prices are going up, probably at this point of time, China won't be worried much about it. Understood? So China right now is only focusing on one thing, that is gaining momentum in its economy. And once the real estate picks up, assuming all other things grow at slow to medium pace, but once the real estate picks up for them, probably there will be a U-turn in their economy, and that is a good news for globally, right? That is a good news globally. How about US? US, the same old story continues. Some data will come and suddenly they will start contemplating, are we going into the inflationary environment again? Their drama is never ending. They somehow want to keep economy in lot of anxiety mode or tension mode, because I find it ridiculous, disgusting, bizarre that why these people are so much panicking about the inflation. When you can bring down your inflation from 9% to 3%, why every data, even with the slightest of increase, is causing concerns in your mind? If you would have been so concerned 1 year, 1.5 years back, probably you did not have this situation. You have made a mockery of your economy, and every data that comes, if there is no employment, no unemployment, even that has become a problem for you. Just see how destructive your thought process has become. Are you people understanding what I'm saying? I'm not trying to create a mountain out of a molehill over here, but this is really weird and bizarre. That why would the economy intentionally want to throw itself into recession? Because that probably will please you, right? So when most of the economists are of a belief that US will successfully have a soft landing where there will not be any damage to the economy, even after 11 consecutive rate hikes, why is it that government is not celebrating it and they mourn it every day, every single day? Any data comes a little on a higher side and they are worried. What do you want people to have? No savings. They should be begging on the roadside. If people go and party, people go and invest in tourism, people go and spend money in the restaurants, you have a problem with that also. So what do you want to see in people? Tell me. What do you want to see? You want people to exhaust their savings? And then because you now have interest rates at 5.5%, you want people to go and borrow for their personal requirements? So I have genuinely no understanding of this. Because, see, understand one thing. Okay, let us try to think of things from their angle. Their concern right now is, what if, okay, they're not talking about recession right now, because to them it appears that recession probably is not coming. But we are more worried about inflation. Inflation can hit back. What my concern over here is, जब आपके रेट 1.25% के जोन में थे, your rates were almost negligible. That time you did not give any heed to this. You turned a deaf ear to everything. You turned a deaf ear to all your critics. You turned a deaf ear to all the economists 1.5 years back. Then you were only bothered about stimulus. You were giving money like free lunch to people. That is the time when your interest rates, your inflation has gone up from 1.5%, 2% to 9%, right? Today, when interest rates are sitting in 5.25 to 5.5% zone, do you think inflation can peak out swiftly? Probably not. At least to my logics, it's not making any sense. It's not making any bloody sense. Okay, their retail sales have gone up by 0.6% in August. And that is more than the anticipation done by the economists. So that becomes a worry for them. Why retail sales are picking up? 0.6% से बढ़ गया भाई. 0.6% है कि 60% है? Why are you so much worried about it? 0.6% retail sales going up has become a big concern for them. Oh, inflation is coming back. Inflation has become more dangerous than the ghost rider. So retail sales have gone up by 0.6%. It means they feel private spending is not coming under control. So you basically put people on house arrest. No, I have a better solution for you. You tell people to do intermittent fasting. They should eat only once a day. If they eat less, they will spend less, no? And your inflation will come in the target zone of 2%. You should put locks on all the restaurants. Shut down the shopping complexes. People won't. If the shopping complexes are closed, how will people shop? Block all the online portals for shopping. I am giving you better suggestions. Come to me. I am giving you constructive solutions to your problems, man. You want to control your inflation. You stop people from spending. If not by choice, by force you do it. Crazy shit, man. Crazy shit. The clothing, electronics, and health stores spendings are still high. Health related spending also high is a problem for them. तो मेडिसिन खाना भी छोड़ दीजिए अभी. अगर बुखार है, मेडिसिन मत खाइए. Don't buy any products which are health related. मर जाइए. That's what the government wants. Die. You suffer. अगर आपको कोई प्रॉब्लम है, आप उस प्रॉब्लम को डील करिए, पर पैसा मत खर्च करिए. आप पैसा खर्च करते हैं, गवर्नमेंट को प्रॉब्लम होता है. गवर्नमेंट हैज अ प्रॉब्लम. अरे लर्न समथिंग फ्रॉम इंडिया. 1 month we are collecting 1.65 lakh crores of GST itself. That happens only when transactions happen. Learn something. आपका जो debt है ना ट्रिलियंस में, you will be able to reduce your debt if you increase your indirect taxes, revenue collection. कुछ सीखो. You come to India for policy making. Retire your economist over there and your policy makers. The layoff has been low. The labor market is solid. That's a big concern. Why are people getting employed? People should not get employed. Producer price index rose more than anticipated. More than anticipated production is happening. By how much, sir? 0.7%. अरे बाप रे बाप. 0.7% more than anticipated. इतना ज़्यादा production. Which means people are consuming, right? 0.7% more than the anticipations done by their so-called economist. Till now, whatever I have discussed is of no concern. It's of no concern. These are buffoons just dancing for no reasons. Till now, whatever I have discussed with you guys, 0.6% से retail spending बढ़ गया, labor market में jobs are still getting created, or their PPI is going up a little bit. All this is bullshit. Not to worry about. This is what I feel. क्योंकि आपका इन्फ्लेशन यहां से जंप करके सीधा 3 से 9% पे वापस नहीं जाएगा. बट इफ यू डू टू मच ऑफ मॉनिटरिंग, इफ यू ट्राई टू कीप इंक्रीजिंग इंटरेस्ट रेट्स एंड यू वांट टू कट डाउन ऑन स्पेंडिंग टू दिस एक्सटेंट, Recession will create a lot of problems for you. I have told this many a times, they need to balance out between their inflation and recession. The main concern is, the big concern, after saying all this, yes, I acknowledge one thing. If gas prices are going up, if crude prices are going up, then that will be a big problem. And that is something which is a self inflicted problem. It's not that demand is going up for crude, it's that production or supplies have been intentionally lowered. That is a major concern right now. You have to look at it from both angles. If intentionally crude prices are being increased, it will automatically throw most of the economies, including India, into inflation. But then the surprising thing is, why are markets not reacting to it? Because probably market has a different view of looking at it. And market's view is that it is not the excess demand of crude which is creating upward pressure in prices. It is intentional lower supply of crude which is creating upward pressure in prices. Are markets in India matured enough to understand this? At least looking at last week jump in the market, this is what looks to be evident. This is what seems to be happening in the markets. But yes, for an economy like US, which is already struggling with its inflation, not to an extent to which they showcase it, but to some extent they have their concerns about inflation. If energy prices and gas prices are going up, it is interlinked to most of the industrial production. And that is where the major concern lies. But then again, as I told you, there are two ways of looking at it. Understood? Energy index rose greater than 10% in last couple of weeks, and gasoline prices jumped 20%. And all this is crude oil related. Brent crude last week, which I told you has touched 90, is constantly on a rise, and this week it has gone up to $93.37 per barrel. That is 10 months high. 10 months high. So this is uninvited guest. The point at which US was almost getting control of its inflation, and suddenly this news, it bewilders everybody. It takes everybody by a shock. Suddenly crude prices going up when economies are not spending that much, especially when China's participation has been negligible. How can crude oil prices go up? This is something to think about, and this is what concerns me about Indian markets also. It's not as big a problem as some of the countries are making it look, but as an investor, yes, you need to be a little careful. Understood? How about India? As I told you, I don't have much to discuss with respect to India. We have company specific data, but one good news is Fitch retains India's growth forecast for current fiscal at 6.3%. So to Fitch, it appears that for India, everything is going good. Like I told you, yes, if crude prices keep rising, it will be painful even for India. It will be painful to some extent. Tata Steel has hit its 52 weeks high on Friday, and it is also very close to its all-time high price now. And Tata Steel, one reason for that is Tata Steel and UK government has jointly announced an agreement for manufacturing the electric arc furnace steel. Okay, the state of the art, some steel manufacturing and all will be done by them. It's a project which is worth pound 1.25 billions, and 500 millions pound will be given by the government to Tata Steel for this project. Adani, Supreme Court was supposed to hear the Adani case based on SEBI's presentation on 15th of September. This has again now been deferred till I think 13th of October. If my memory does not betray me, this is what I remember. Till 13th of October it has been deferred again. So for 2-3 consecutive months the matter is being deferred. Adani has entered into a joint venture with Kova Holdings Asia for sale of green ammonia, green hydrogen, and its derivatives. They have taken up a new joint venture. So they will be selling green ammonia, green hydrogen, and its derivatives in Japan, Taiwan, and Hawaii. I think on Friday, if I remember it correctly, Adani has increased its stake in Adani Green again. So they have increased their stakes in Adani Enterprise, Adani Ports, Adani Green. They are constantly increasing their stake. And they are also expecting that some French investor is going to invest the debt in the debt of Adani Group. The money which they used to buy Ambuja cement, they need to refinance that debt, and some French investor is probably going to come into that. We have to see who comes into this in this crisis situation for Adani Group, where the picture is still not crystal clear. We need to see if some very big investor comes to fund the debt component for Adani Group. That will again boost confidence of investors who have invested in Adani Group. Okay. Dow Jones, like I told you guys, is standing at 34,618 levels. I am a little disappointed because I would have been happier if Friday closing would have been above 34,800. Thursday markets were good. Friday markets were not so good. Again, like I told you, they have a habit of blowing things out of proportion. At this point of time, if it was because of crude prices going up, then the entire week should have been sluggish for US markets. Now, it's not that on Monday you don't worry about crude prices, Tuesday you do, Wednesday you don't, Thursday you ignore, Friday suddenly you realize it's a big problem. It's not like that, right? Because it has been constantly increasing. So if it's a problem on one day, it has to be a problem on the other day. I don't know, but why they keep their markets so volatile, I don't understand. For a country like US, where 45% people invest in equity markets, we don't expect markets to be so volatile. We, on the contrary, expect the markets to be very matured about everything, right? But this is something, a shocker from the US markets. Who manipulates it, I don't know, but it is manipulated for sure, I can tell you that. Nasdaq is 13,708, not sustaining 14,000 levels, which has now become a crucial resistance for Nasdaq. That's what I can say based on my limited knowledge. Nifty closing at 20,192 looks stupendous, but I have my own reasons and reservations on Nifty. I feel if Dow Jones is not going past 34,800 and moving into the zone of 35,200, 250 to 500, I'm repeating myself again and again, and I will be happy if I'm proven wrong on this one. I will be happy. But I feel if Dow Jones is not able to sustain 34,800 as a support, and if it is not strongly moving into the zone of 35,250 to 35,400, 500 levels, it will be difficult for Nifty to move into 20,500 levels. If it still moves into 20,500 levels, probably the fall from there will be very swift, is what I feel. Nifty can retest 19,600 levels. I'm talking about a 600 point fall from here if Dow is not giving a good support at 34,800 levels. ऐसा नहीं है कि एक country which is considered the most important equity market as on date, ऐसा नहीं है कि they are struggling with their indices, but Nifty रोज एक नया हाई सेट कर रहा है. Chances are less. होगा तो अच्छा है सर, हम बोल देंगे जय हिंद, मेरा भारत महान. But chances are less. We have to be realistic with what we talk. And I am telling you again, I am not somebody who is bearish on markets, but I am giving you a word of caution based on my little knowledge. It is always recommended that you do your level of analysis. Abhi, based on my saying all this, you go short on 100 lots of Nifty. Sir, please. मेरे बोलने पे मत करिएगा, because I have very limited knowledge. I make these videos only for entertainment purpose. I have no clue what I'm talking about. So you please do your research if you do, or if you plan to do something wild like going short on Nifty. Okay, I'm just trying to tell you, with your investments or your leveraged positions, that is your FNO positions, go a little light right now. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And that's just a suggestion from my end. Okay. Sorry. Bank Nifty at 46,000 is looking very strong. My top two picks from Bank Nifty will still be HDFC Bank and Kotak Bank. Uday Kotak has resigned before his term, but I am very hopeful that in next 2-3 months, when they decide who is going to come as his successor, any promising person only is going to come. And Uday Kotak has made a statement very clearly that Kotak Mahindra Bank is not all about Uday Kotak. Uday Kotak, being in the organization or not, does not change the future of Kotak Bank. So I think it's just a matter of time. Kotak Bank has got a very solid support in the range of 1800 to 1810, and it's just a matter of time. Once a good successor is being announced, I think a swift movement in Kotak Bank up till 2100 can come in. Okay, so you're looking at 10 to 15% upside in a stock. I'm not giving any fresh recommendations. Like I told you, you can stick to Ambuja Cement, which I told in my last video. If you got Avanti Feeds, it is in a very good zone. Probably, if markets support it, we may see Avanti Feeds doing its targets very soon. Apart from that, my old recommendations, Rajesh Exports is still a hold. UPL has picked up very well now. I have spoken about UPL at around 600 levels. Now UPL is trading around 634 rupees. Apart from that, my other picks are Happiest Mind, which is still good. Adani Transmission, I have told you people earlier, I'm still very bullish on it. Okay. What is my life hack today? I read it somewhere, African proverb. You can't stop trouble from coming, but you don't have to give it a chair to sit on. So, if you're doing something challenging, something promising in your life, something that demands a lot of efforts, you will have problems, guys. It's all about how you deal with those problems. Dealing with problems can be of two types. One is, if you don't have any control on it, just ignore it. If you think you can do something about it, then take action and get rid of that problem. Because you can't live with problems. Ek din, do din chalega. But you can't live with your problems for lifelong. Then it will not allow you to focus on anything else. Your professional life, your personal life, your career, it won't let you, your studies, it won't let you focus on any of these. So problems are like babies. The more you nurse them, the bigger they get. I'm not saying babies are problems. Galat mat samajh lena yaar. I'm just saying problems are like babies. The more you nurse them, the bigger they get. Usko apne andar mat rakhiye. If you have a problem, you realize that there is a problem, you do something about it. If it's in your control, if it's in your voluntary control. If it's not in your voluntary control, then ignore it and move forward in life. Did it teach you some experience? Take that. You facing problems in your path towards achieving something is a clear-cut indication that you are trying hard. Self-inflicted problems to hona nahi chahiye because of lack of discipline, because of some idiotic act of yours. If you created problem for yourself, then that should not have been done in first place. But understand one thing, if you want a life which is very smooth and there are no problems in it, then you should remember one thing, a smooth sea never made a skilled sailor. So you have to understand one thing. Aap life mein jab koi bhi, whether you're talking about career, you're talking about your education, you're talking about your personal relations, problems will crop up everywhere. It's not how big a problem it is. It is about how strategically and in an intellectual manner, in a pragmatic manner, you deal with your problems. Understood? So, just to conclude this, I'll say one thing. Whenever you face a problem in life, ask yourself a question. Is there anything I can do about it? If the answer is yes, then why worry? Because you can do something about it, right? If the answer is no, you can't do anything about the problem, then still why worry? Because you know it's not in your control, right? Okay, chalo, I hope you enjoyed the video. Keeping it below 30 minutes of your precious time. I will be heading for my breakfast now, followed by my class. Hopefully next week, again, I'll do a video. Try to keep your positions less. Fresh investments should be done carefully. Mid cap, small cap should be avoided. The ones which have shown a lot of upside in the last couple of months. Focus more on large cap stocks, the ones which are stable. Stay healthy, do your workout, Jim Jow. Jim Jow, the real, if you would have seen Jim Jow, I can't speak the entire thing, but I can only say Jim Jow. Okay, chalo, bye bye, guys. God bless all of you. Cheers. Thank you.